Hello everyone, and this is Mrinal. In this video, we are going to look into types of functions in Python. So in the previous videos, we talked about the basics of the functions, the why, what, and how. So if you have not seen it, so go back to that video. So there will be an I button where the link for the video will be there. So go back there and just view it, and then this video will make more sense. Okay, so let's start with the idea of types of function. Now, in our blog post, we have a simple diagram where functions can be defined into basic two types. One can be called as a predefined function and other as user-defined function, right? And again, a predefined function can be divided into two categories: the built-in function and the function defined in modules, right? So obviously we'll talk about each and every type of the function, and we'll look into its examples also. Now the first thing is built-in function. Now built-in functions are certain functions that are already present with you and you have been using it, like the print for printing any particular content on your screen, or like the input function that you have been using to take it. Now the interesting thing about built-in function is that it is already there. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to define it, you don't have to import it from somewhere else. So let us jump over to our Jupyter notebook and let's see how it works. So one of the example that we can show over here is, maybe I have a variable and I want to add it or just print it, something of this sort, like value is, then I'll just simply write val, right? And I can just simply execute it. So here we have our value that is printed. So now here print is a function. How do I understand the print is a function? Now if you remember when we used to call function, so function call will have the name of the function, then a starting parenthesis and then a closing parenthesis, and within that there will be a list of arguments, right? So that's why we can understand that print is a function. Now it is an inbuilt function because why? You have not defined the print function, you have not imported it from anywhere, you are just simply using it. So this is an example of a built-in function. Now we do remember that if I have to understand about a function, the simplest way is to use the help method, which is again a function. So within that help function, we'll just write print, that is the name of the function, and it is going to give us the complete details. So help on built-in function print. So here it's already written in clear words that print is a built-in function. So these are the values or the arguments of this function. It can have a value, obviously a list of values, as many values you want. It can have a separate argument, it can have an end, which is a new line character by default, and it also has file and flush. So every other detail is being given in here, right? So the similar example could be input. So we do remember input. It is used for getting some sort of an input or value from our user and then operate upon it. So I'll just write again va, which is equal to some sort of an input, and I'll just write enter a value, and we'll just again simply print va. So as it's an input method, so its job is to prompt for a value. So it is asking me that, okay, enter a value. So suppose I'll enter 25 and we'll hit enter. So 25 gets printed. Yet again, input is also an inbuilt function. So that is a basic idea behind inbuilt function. That is, it's already present with your system. You don't have to do anything. Just simply understand the function and use it. So that was about our built-in function. The next type is the function defined in modules. Now imagine I want to find the square root of a number. So suppose I have a val1, which is maybe 64, right? And I want to find its square root. Right. So as usual, we can see that it throws an error that sqrt is not defined, right? As in previous case, input, it didn't throw any error because it was inbuilt. Now sqrt is not an inbuilt function, it is defined somewhere else, right? So this is an example of a function defined in a module. So if you don't import the module in your code, it's not going to work. As simple as that, right? So in our example, we have written how to import it. So one of the way is to directly import by calling the module name. So here is an example that import math, and from math module we are going to use a simple dot operator and then call the function with the argument, right? So let us just simply demonstrate it. So sqrt is not present by default, so I have to import it. Import math. right? And again, yet again, I cannot just simply call sqrt, because our interpreter would not be knowing that, okay, where this function belongs to. So I have to mention math.sqrt, that is, this sqrt function used for finding the square root of a number belongs to the math module. If I execute, now it is giving me an answer of 8.0, which is obviously correct. So similarly, this is one of the way. Another way is to use an alias. Now at certain times, the name of the module is very big and we don't want to type it over and over again. So again, it is not mandatory, but we can use like import math as m, where m is an alias. It's a kind of a nickname. So in place of math, I can just simply write m and it will still execute, right? Does it make sense? So this is yet another way where we can put an alias, and its only purpose is to provide convenience, nothing else. So now if I try math, still gonna work. So either I can use math or m, it's still gonna work, but m is more convenient. That's the idea behind it, right? So next we are going to move into user-defined function. Now we already talked about user-defined function. Now the idea is pretty simple, that these are the function that we design. So how do we create a function? Using a def keyword, obviously. So I want a function called as an add, right? And it takes 2 arguments, and we'll just do some simple addition. Print a plus b plus 10. So this is a special kind of an add where 2 numbers you are adding, but you're getting a value that is 10 more than the additional value, right? After that, once we have defined the function, now def keyword and everything else is called the definition of the function, then we have to call it. How do we call it? So first the name of the function, then parenthesis, then the argument list. So suppose 10, another is also 10, and now if I execute it, I'm going to get 30, right? So this is the idea of a user-defined function. Why it is a user-defined function? Because this add function is not present in any other module. We have custom created it, and it has to be present in the same script itself. It cannot be somewhere else. We'll call it that it's a user-defined function. It will more or less become a function that is defined in a module. Does it make sense? So we discussed about 3 types of function. The first was the built-in function, then the function defined in modules, and then user-defined function. So you can go over to our blog post and get a hold of everything. The codes and everything is given over there, and obviously the theoretical idea of that is also there. So I hope it made sense. So stay tuned to the channel. If you like this video, put that thumbs up, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.